Okay, welcome to our today's session. I warmly welcome to my Zoom audience and my Facebook live audience or offline audience who can watch after this class. Uh, I'm your host, Maratip, and we are studying actually a course from last 6 or 7 weeks. And this course is about ABC of success in 10 steps based on the book of uh, the map of consciousness written by psychiatrist and a great spiritual leader, Dr. David Hawking. And these 10 steps we are studying every week one by one. The first step was we studied the power of intention. The second step, the element of enjoyment in your success. The third, the how you have a serviceability to introduce your product and services in your business, or you if you are self-employed person. Then the role of aesthetic factor in your business running, and then the role of attraction and loyalty, uh, rather than you paid high investment on marketing, uh, what genuine attraction you have in your business. And then reliability, we learned last week, last Sunday, that uh, how you can increase your reliability so that people can join you, people can buy your product and service, and they can consider you as a reliable uh, service provider. Today topic is also important, and that's a step number 7. Any successful person, any successful businessman or business lady, if she is launching her skill, her product and service in any capacity, then the factor number how she or he is noble in presenting the business. So nobility is very important in in gaining the trust of your customer. And what does it mean by nobility? Uh, it's all about the genuine humanistic values uh, you are using in your marketing or sales, or when you are at the customer desk in customer service department, uh, and how you are dealing with your complaints and feedback about your product and service, how you are a noble, what degree of uh, of ethics you are using. uh, we know that Jenny and Cynthia and Javeria, um, when we are using someone product and services, and a lot of time we are not happy with them because of their violent uh, and their non-professional approach, and therefore you try not to use them again because of their unethical behavior, very poor conduct they do. I'm talking about the poor conduct of seller, poor conduct of as a sales lady or as a customer sales representative. So uh, they are poor. Why? Because they do not have nobility in training or in their experience. And that's we are going to learn how ethical things are very important. Have you seen a butcher shop? Uh, or have you seen a car mechanic who fix the car? Have you seen a hawker? Not every hawker. I'm not talking about every mechanic. I'm not talking about every. I mean the labor related people. Or I'm talking about. Just imagine hawkers, mechanics, uh, and or a low value, or what we can it where more less education is required and more your skill work is usually required. And if you see their behavior when they're talking with you, they talk very poorly with the customer. They talk very authoritative way. They do not have respect of customer as such, the standard which we see in many multinational companies, isn't it? Uh, and the butcher place where they basically slaughter the animals, and usually they complain that the people don't respect them because of course they looks very violent, butchers, uh, and a normal person feel very um, like aggressive or violent or non-ethical type of feelings in their heart about the butchers. The mechanic is also a person who is not very well educated, but he works, he knows about how to fix the car, how to repair the car, but he does not know how to behave and talk with the customer. So because of the lack of nobility, they lose their business. People, customers, client, they need nobility in your talking, in your walking, what you're saying, how well you are representing your company. And these things are so important. And that's we are going to learn today. Um, and it is also very important because of the very human nature. We um, we get attraction from other humans. So we basically serving humans. We are serving people who have heart, who have emotions, who have knowledge, who have mind, who have standards of ethics. So, uh, therefore, as a seller, uh, as a business owner, I must be very, very respectful towards my customer because I'm serving human people, human beings, and that is our topic of today. Uh, so let's start our today's reading. There are four, five, six slides. So one by one, we can start reading. This one I can start, and then Jenny, and then Cynthia, and then Javeria, one by one. So the step number 7, the nobility in the business, or ethic, or highest values in the business. So Dr. Hawking is saying that keep in mind that there is only one customer, and that is human nature itself. You cannot make a mistake if you keep in mind the basic rule that you only have one customer to serve, one customer to please, and that one customer's name is human nature. You are so basically he's saying you are serving human nature. Um, and you know that what is human nature. And we human nature have a body. We human has a very emotional heart. We human mind uh, have rationality. They try to rationalize the things and experiences. And we have our spirit where we live with that, and we are alive in this world because of our soul and spirit. And that we need to consider before uh, we are interacting with our customer. So let's go further the next one. And I would ask my colleague Jenny if she can start reading.
No matter whose skin it may be wearing, it is the same customer inside of everyone. It is easy to understand your customer. Just ask yourself what qualities you look for in a product. Notice that the word is qualities. No price will sell it to us if it does not have the qualities we are looking for in it.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great reading. So it's very self-explanatory about we we all uh, we all are the same human being, absolutely same human being, and that is a illusion. Like for example, my hands, my face color. Maybe I'm a brown. Maybe I'm a white. Maybe I'm a black. Maybe I'm any other skin color or type I have. But originally, genuinely, we all have one heart, we all have one mind, we all have everything same. All billions people who were in the on this planet and who will come on this planet after that. That is just a trial we are living in this world. And the great businessman or business lady is the one who do not consider uh, special about different people based on their skin color or based on their race they belongs to. And that is very tricky for majority of people, because majority of people, we in somehow have some degree of racism. We have our own biasness against a different ethnicity. We have biasness and prejudice against our own race as well. So therefore, when we are selling our product and services, we become biased. But here, Dr. Hawking is saying that, which is the one of the great lines, he says, no matter whose skin it may be wearing, it is the same customer inside of everyone. So the psyche of the customer is same everywhere, and the psyche and the uh, condition of and mindset of the customer is almost same everywhere, and that is cash by many multinational companies, that how we can serve the customer better with have their tremendous research work, um, and then they set the practices in the corporate world about and they set the standards. And the other medium and small businesses company, they try to follow how, let's say, Microsoft is interacting with the customer. So let's follow Microsoft trend, how Apple is treating the customer, or talking with the customer over the phone or on the chat or in person. So I will also follow the same practices in my business. So big companies usually they set the trend for the other rest of the people, because they know that how they are, um, because they are driven by ethics. They are mostly driven by nobility. Okay, so uh, I usually myself when because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm running my successful business as well in London. And when I come across multi-faith, multi-ethnic people who are my customer, from very rich to very poor, or different classes I have to do. But when I am speaking with my staff, or when I am discussing some issue with my wife after the work, or with my friend, then I never consider which background of ethnic they were belongs to. Let's say I come across a very difficult customer who are very bad, commonly speaking, but I call them difficult customer, who are swearing, who has very bad habits and stuff like that. But when I am mentioning that customer to my staff or to my friend, I never mention which ethnic or nationality that customer belongs to. which skin color that customer was belongs to. Was he immigrant, or was he genuine British person? Was he a family man, or he was a single person? Was he so? Why? Because I don't believe on this nonsense and ill education. I never see my customer whether he's a white or she's a black, or he's a Indian, or he's a Asian or Arabic. I never consider as a business owner, and I want my staff not ever uh, consider or see what background they have, but what we can do only what is in their mind when they come to buy our product and service. That is the only thing we need to serve here. And that the nobility, ethical things I am serving, I try to do this. And that's why probably I have been very successful in my business. So it is very important, but very difficult. Very difficult. When I sit with my other business owner um, of the same industry, don't know. I can't tell you any customer when they come in their store, they have a totally labels of that customer. Oh, I met an English girl. She is that age. She belongs to corporate world, and she speaks fluent British accent English. She looks very rich, and blah blah blah. And then I'm speaking on that behalf. And imagine that how much that business owner will be biased uh, about that other customer who will be poor, or who will be low, uh, or other ethnic related. And if that other customer is coming to their store, how they will be treating them because of any ABC reason. So this problem is everywhere in the world, but the genuine leaders, they never consider it as a problem because they believe on ethical values. They only see the heart and the need of the people, not their race, not their background, or not their own, under their own prejudice or biases if they have. So let's go further and see what's the Dr. David Hawkins is saying. So I'm asking Cynthia, if you can start reading, please.
In this area, you have to watch the mind's tendency to pander to the weakness in people's character. If you cater to negativity, there may be there may be a profit. You may survive quite well. However, you will never be a success. Not concluding with what is sick and perverted is not being a goody two shoes, well behaved person. It is being realistic. Can you ever fool the universe? No. According to the science of kinesiology, even if people have no conscious knowledge of the facts, when we test complete strangers with no knowledge at all on the subject, we will find that if they focus on something where integrity is absent, they will go weak.
Thank you. It's a great reading. Did you see that's a mind blowing finding? So, Dr. Hawkins is saying we cannot fool the world. How smarter we are. If you see the previous, one of the previous example of this one, uh, yeah, the donut one, you remember um, that if we are selling the donuts, and these donuts are 1 day old, and I'm not decreasing the price next day even, and I'm selling it as a fresh donor, and how smarter I will be as a business, as a manager or the business owner. I will think I have make fool the customer, but what the disaster he has done or she has done, they have lost the customer forever, because that customer will never come again, because you sold the previous day or unfresh donor donut as a fresh donut, and you think because he or she does not know about this, and that's why uh, that customer will keep coming next time as well. That is one of the foolish thing we think as a business owner. So we cannot fool the people, because the kinesiology, this is the one of the branch in spirituality and psychology, and they say that when they did a research on, they basically customer knows very well, and they know that the seller or the shopkeeper has lost their integrity, and they know that, and it and therefore they will never buy next time. So because there are hidden vibes goes to the customer if you try to deceive or cheat the customer. Okay. um it's exactly like, if you see the photo, if you are in a classroom and you are taking an exam, and you have put some piece of paper, the small sheets in your pocket, and when you are doing exam, you are cheating in the exam room, and when the examiner is checking, maybe you think that that examiner does not know, but many skillful examiner, when they are marking your paper, they also can sense that it is a cheated paper. This man or this student has cheated. Okay. um, so but as a student thinks that my teacher or examiner is a fool person. He or she, when marking my exam paper, uh, he or she does not know that my whole paper was based on a cheated stuff. And that is basically spiritually, we uh, make the things fake in our mind, and we think we leg pull our we do leg pull our colleagues when we are at work. We try to make a bad impression of my colleagues' weaknesses in front of boss, so that the boss can kick that colleague out from the office, or that boss can be harsh on that colleague. But in reality, you will weaken your relationship with your not with the boss, but also with that with your colleague, because spiritually your colleague will have a negative vibes about you, that you reported your one of the weakness or the fault, or lack of some integrity to his or her boss. So he will eventually know. When husband cheats the wife, and husband if husband thinks that my wife will not know, she's a dumb, she will never know because I'm a very smart person. No, the wife will know, even though you will not leave the traces of your disloyalty. She will get to know spiritually that you have an affair with other lady. Don't be over smart, husband. So that's, we basically try to fool the universe, and of course it's not. And because of lack of nobility, our relationship is broken, of course, in family. Um, if you see, I'm very sorry if this picture is offensive for someone, maybe for Javeria, uh, but don't you don't need to take as offensive. Uh, and why? Because there is a big message, and what the big message is that many people in the market, they are doing a business by selling a very um, horror and very unethical products as well. And there are customers who want to buy these products. You know, this is a beautiful doll, but she has taken out his inst- uh, instantines from the belly, and that is a highest selling doll in the market as well. But if you see, there is no nobility in product and service, but people are still buying it. And but of course, it's a very inhuman. It's very inhuman, and and we kid ourselves if we think that we can cater to what is weak without becoming weakened ourselves. It is contaminated stuff. But we sell in a market every type of thing in a market. Um, so let's try to understand what this example is. And I would ask Jenny or Cynthia if you want to highlight any of the lesson you learned from this example, particularly from this doll which you see, and that
Okay.
doll is, yeah,
Um,
uh, yeah,
where it says we kid ourselves if we think we can cater to what is weak without becoming weakened ourselves, it is contaminating. I think
mm,
that's I think that's correct, because if you're around something for long enough that is not of God, or whatever it is that makes you have your beliefs. Like for me, of course it's God, but it could be whatever it is for everybody else. And if I'm to subject myself and, let's just say, hang out with a bunch of friends that like this kind of thing, then even though I disagree with it, it would somehow rub off on me a little bit over time and repetition. And repetition is a tool that can teach people, if you say it enough times, that it's okay, right? And I would never want that to be okay for me. So I would not hang around all those friends that think things are okay that I don't, just because I wouldn't want it to even compromise my values. And I don't think people have the power to compromise my values, but I think that they could sway me a little bit if I, hung out in the wrong crowds for too long. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Then
yeah,
I
yeah,
buy a doll
totally.
like this. Like I don't see myself ever wanting to buy a doll that would do any of this stuff. But like if
Yeah,
all my friends did it and they laughed about it and they were like, look, see, and then maybe a year later, I might just be like, well, I guess it's just a doll. I would just want to stay with the fact that I'm like, I don't want to be, having anything like that. No, thank you. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, absolutely. That's why I put, if you see the photo on the screen, uh, and that lady, basically, that lady is like a witch, an even more horrible witch, but they are on a customer service. We hire them. Apparently, they are beautiful um, at the customer or reception desk, but basically, they do not have nobility because their character and their training uh, and the ethical values are not aligned even with the very basic standard values which other companies they have set in the society. So uh, That's why we have. So let's try to understand. I would ask Javeria if you can read it, please.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add a thing that it's on other hand, if someone I heard about this thing that if someone some gang kidnap some peoples and children and they sold their and sell their kidneys, but those people who sell their own who sell their parts of body, their kidneys, with your sense, oh my god, I just wonder on this. And let me start reading from here.
Oh my
um
God. Yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
in the
you
universe.
pointed out very good point, Javeria. Even in a market, we are selling human organs, and she
Yes.
pointed out very well that they kidnap the children, they kidnap the people, and big gangs. They take out the heart, kidneys, liver from people's body, and they sell to the to other countries, to other people, and it is a very big business nowadays. So it's a very inhuman, and that is the lesson of today, that we have we do not have nobility in our businesses. Uh, as a customer service uh, conduct we are doing, or even some people who are selling very inhuman things, uh, like this business. These dolls are called disembowelment doll. Disembowelment dolls. If you can Google it, you will find a lot of dolls, and a lot of people they buy them. So yeah, now let's start reading, please.
Okay. Everything in the universe is connected with everything else. When we start first, get the fact, we will be a little paranoid, para, paranoid, paranoid for a while, but it will be therapeutic. Parano, paranoia, paranoia. Is this the word paranoia?
Yeah, paranoia.
Paranoia. If someone manufactured this you said this word, this doll card, this symbol meant disembowelment doll, and there would be plenty of strange people out there to buy it. Complete it, Harry, Harry carry knife and lifelike gut, electronic scream, and plastic guard also, and someone could also profit from it. The cost to the penderer of such tests, however, is enormous and and enorm, enorm, enorm,
Enormous.
enormous. It is invisible to them, but quite visible to everyone else. What we have been describing in the last two paragraphs is not human nature, but inhuman nature. And we kid ourselves if we think we can cater to what is weak within, without becoming weakened ourselves. Is it is contaminating. Con,
Absolutely. It's a great
okay.
reading. Thank you, Javeria. Thank you. Um, so yeah, that's it. So let's go where the human decency element factor counts. Those who are violating human decency and seem to be profiting by it may look good for a moment. However, when we study their lives in details, longitudinally, the devastation is staggering to comprehend. And the next question, David Hawkins is saying, do we conquer a thing by opposing it? Absolutely not. The way we conquer it is to grow and move away from it. When it becomes clear and something in our life is anti-life, immature, or superficial, this is really disguised vanity. Um, and many people, they are proud of these things. And many people, they want to, they think that they are conquering something when they deceive or they don't follow nobility, they don't follow human decency. I give you example. Many butchers, they're proud of to slaughter the animals, like hen, cock, rooster, um, lamb, goat, buffalo, cow, camel, and they are very proud of it. It is their vanity. Um, but now the trends and the standards of being a butcher in the world is not very encouraging because of inhuman act. There are two different categories of the people as vegetarian and non-vegetarian people. And the debate and the big polarization is everywhere that killing and eating the animals is also inhuman. So if we implement that example or that scenario here, that of course butcher is doing what he is doing is not decent thing, but still they are opposing it. And here the doctor is saying, Dr. David Hawkins is saying, it is, of course, is immature, is anti-life act. It is very superficial, and it is so-called pride they have. So-called pride they have. So um, it could be debatable. I'm not saying. Maybe the Dr. David Hawkins thinks that to be a non-vegetarian is not very ethical, because many people, majority of people in the world, they are non-vegetarian. They eat lamb, beef, and hen, chicken, everything, every meat they can. Uh, but maybe Dr. David Hawkins is no is vegetarian, and he thinks that it's inhuman. But on a general grounds, it is inhuman. Uh, and uh, and people, they are transforming their life by becoming a vegetarian as well, for a good health, for a good, for the safety of the environment, and for cruelty on the animal we do all over the world. They don't want to do, because whole human civilization want to become decent. And always remember these, slaughtering the animal was the activity of of the savage or the caveman when they do not have other things to eat, you know. But here in this our planet, if I'm living in India, Pakistan, um, UK, America, Indonesia, China, Japan, and Europe, plenty of other stuff is there. Plenty of. I mean, um, so I think we can live without eating food, eating meat, and those things which we get after killing the other innocent animal. I'm in favor of this. That should be moved forward as well, and that should not be seen as a offensive or any religious or cultural values. Of course, we are moving positive in the world, and if there is some so-called pride we have associated with something, it should not be in practice. So, but people are very uh, have arrogancy. Even they are doing some inhuman act. Um, so, what we need now, we need maturity, spiritual maturity. We need a wisdom to understand that why we need to become decent. I'm not talking about for this meat or vegetarian business or non-vegetarian. I'm talking about generally in all matters in our business. We need to do mature, to become mature. So I would ask Jenny if she can read it, please.
When we discover that there is no love or goodwill in it, should we feel guilty about it, punish ourselves, or become reformers? No. Rather, the resolution is maturity and wisdom. Our consciousness evolves beyond it when we do not give in to it or fight against it. As we become more conscious and aware, killing ducks just does not appeal to us anymore. We switch to skeet. Birds that fly in a V formation and honk are trying to make it south so that they can survive and raise a new flock for the next year.
Yeah, it is. It's a great reading and it's a great message as well. I give you a quick example for my thing. My daughter, she's Kola, and and one day I came to my office, in my home office. I have office where I'm conducting this class, and there was a big piece of what we call fruit was uh, what we call it, entangled, the old grapes and what we call it, apples, and she put on a wood rod. So she sat, and then it was on my table. And when I came to my office and I said, "Oh, who made this, and why is it on my table?" And then she said, "I want to become a vegetarian. So instead of eating meat kebab, take this, take and eat this fruit kebab. So this is a fruit kebab, not the meat kebab. So you don't need to eat meat kebab." And it was a mind-blowing message for me that why? Because I wanted to, avoid meat kebab. Um, and she presented the substitute, like, and she presented beautifully, and then I eat the whole long kebab and fruit kebab. So the main point is, there is a big wave all across the world about uh, killing and hunting and slaughtering the animals and birds for sake of food. You can do if you are in the jungle, there is no food, and you have to kill something to eat to survive. That's a different matter, but no anymore in a modern civilization. And because and which and Jenny, she read the text, and it is referring to how we can reform this thing if we have a guilty based business. So the answer, Dr. David Hawkins is saying, you don't need to reform anything. You don't need to punish or feel guilty. Just take the resolution as a maturity and wisdom, and learn about more, what is more decency. And that is a great thing. Uh, Leverage or increase your consciousness, and then it will automatically will be out of your mind any sense of guilty if you have. Um, so yeah, uh, s- yeah. So there is a next paragraph is waiting. So Cynthia, if you can read it, please.
One time visiting a small town, I said to a local shopkeeper, "Who is everyone? Or where is everyone?" "Well," he said, "squirrel season opens today. Apparently all the town's he-men had to run out of wildlife to kill: bears, mountain lions, elk, moose, sheep, deer, javelina, porcupines, beavers, foxes, buffalo, mustangs, swans, ducks, pigeons, doves, and anything else that moved. Now they are down to the squirrels. The sheer grotesqueness of what a high-powered rifle or shotgun can do to an itty-bitty squirrel is incomprehensible. Dove and squirrel hunting calibrates at 65.
That's a great reading. So you see that in our world, even if we go out of our cities, in villages and small cities and towns, people still are very live like a savage or caveman, and they are in sort of these inhuman businesses, in indecent businesses. Um, and here the Dr. David Hawkins is saying, dove and squirrel hunting comes in 65. And let's have a look our here is map of consciousness. 65, where is it? Physics. Here is. So between 75 and 50, what is here? God view is condemning, condemning. It's a hopeless life view. Is a apathy. Okay, is a disappear. The emotion is disappear, and abdication is the process. Or if we go a little bit, this disappear leads to regret. This apathy is in result of some grief when we kill the dove and squirrel. It is a tragic. It is, and God see as a disdainful. Mm. And this process is despondency. Okay. And we are here. So any hunter or a butcher who is slaughtering or who is killing the animal's bird. So according to Dr. David Hawkins, they are here at the conscious level. Did you see how this accurately and beautifully Dr. David Hawkins is educating us? And it is the act of grief. It is the act of because of apathy, and it is the act of guilt which is below, and it is above from the shame. So shame, guilt, apathy, grief. Here the hunting comes. Here killing comes. Here the inhuman product and service comes. Just I'm assuming that all inhuman behavior related thing, uh, like these dolls, which we just saw the image, that also comes this business here. So here we have a guidance. You see, that's it's a wonderfully he presented here. So yeah, so dove and squirrels hunting calibrate at 65, and What is the cost of the person who kills life willfully for momentary gain or momentary thrill? What is the cost to person who caters to the negative in others? In the long-term cases that have been researched, the cost to the person is enormous. Such people have no real personal power or magnetism. They do not have the power to transform the situation just by being who they are. So here is a reality for these people. Yeah. And he is also pointing out what is the cost to the person who caters in negativity in others. So they are also like those people who always pull out the negativity in other people as well. So it's a great message and narration is here. And the last para is I'm asking Jenny if you can read it. So how we should take it as a nobility, how we can inculcate nobility in our businesses to and that is very important. So let's start to read what is the last message for having a nobility in our business.
People who are coming from inner power have the capacity to transform the situation merely by their presence. Their presence alone makes all the difference. When you have owned your inner power, it is not what you have or what you do that counts, it is who you are. It is what you have become. Power is greatness. Greatness is stature. Stature is presence. Presence comes from the ABC that you own within yourself. It cannot be purchased. It cannot even be earned.
Excellent. Um, so that is a message to identify and knowing yourself. And yourself has, and everyone's self, not even a hunter, even a butcher, even the people who are in inhuman uh, uh, businesses, related businesses, they all have this inner power, but they haven't exercised it. They have greatnesses, but they haven't discovered these greatnesses. And and everybody has a built-in within our soul. And because it is inspirational to other who come to experience the best in themselves just by virtue of this presence of greatness, which validates their inner nobility and nurtures their hidden potential. The world acknowledges the presence of this inner power just because it is. It is. Nelson Mandela is a great example coming from the ABC of caring for all South Africans and not just his own racial group, brought forth a unifying spirit strong enough to dissemble against all odds a long-standing inhuman apart apartheid system. So that is the message for having a nobility. Nobility is basically is inspirational, inspiration, and you can have to realize this greatness, your own self, um, and that can be done when you are present, when you think that there is a greatness in everyone and in me. And even though I have a guilty, I have a apathy, I have a um, anger, I have a feeling of not being good, still I can identify my inner power to become more noble, to become uh, to realize this fact that we all people are serving human nature. We are human and we are serving human. We don't need to become a vampire or witch to have make them forcefully buying to impress them by presenting unethical values. We must have uh, nobility, ethical, and philosophical, meaningful approach when we are selling our product and service, which is essential and as equal important as other steps of making the journey of your success in your business. So that's a step number 7 is nobility. We learned today that how it is important. So there are many points we can take away that make we need to make sure that our business does not have any inhuman or indecent type of thing, or any element in this. If any unethical thing in my business, we should cute it and go for the better one. Um, Also, we can take it that we are human being and we are serving human hearts, and all humans are attractive and inspired by nobility. So that we need to do. And yeah, and the last message he mentioned about that nobility comes from your from your inner self and its identification, which gives you the power, which make you present, because that is a wealth which you cannot purchase from someone, which you cannot earn from somewhere. For example, if you do not have integrity or you haven't discovered the integrity, you cannot give, let's say, $100 to Maratip and say, "Oh, Maratip, can you give me integrity for $100? I need it for my business. I need it when I go home." No, no, you cannot buy this. It is inside you, and you need to have this power to discover. And that is the whole point of this life. Um, any question anybody have, or anybody wants to share your thought before I close this?
I want to share a thought that that's so interesting, that the presence, the power of your presence, and how it can change things. That's kind of neat because I've had people, and now I'm in a customer service role. So this is a great class because I see and interact with people that I'm doing service for. And sometimes they'll come in, mad. I've only been doing this for a few weeks, and they'll come in like, I never get my package and I don't know what's going on. And they'll be all frustrated. But then I'll totally relax them and I'll be like, well, let's go get it and let's go look together and that kind of thing. And the power of the presence has changed so many things. Now, when they come in, they're like, hey, how are you? I'm talking to them. I'm getting to know them. Of course, they say at the end, I'm so sorry. I was so frustrated when I came in here, and they start explaining why and that kind of thing. And I just tell them, no big deal. I get it, but the presence has changed their demeanor as to they came in upset and they left feeling, pretty great at the end. So it's been fun doing that. That presence is so true.
Absolutely. Uh, um, Even our last many weeks and months classes, um, if you remember, we done on a power of now, and the power of now by Eckhart Tolle. His whole work revolves around this key spiritual idea about being presence and how we can feel presence out of past or our future. Um, and that we can take this presence element from his teaching as well. Uh, so yeah, that's all for today. It was a long class, I think. Maybe because of the content was long, maybe the reading was long. So um, so let's continue for next Sunday. The step number 8. Uh, and step number 8, we will learn for making our success in our business, in our jobs, in our employment, in our self-employment, in our journey of being successful, and how we can earn more by presenting the genuine, uh, highest values I can or anybody can do. So let's continue to have this journey and meet next Sunday, same time on Facebook and Zoom. And don't forget to forward my new course, which is starting uh, next week. Sorry, next month from 20th of November about addiction, the how to quit any addiction. It's a very foundational course and a very deep thinking course I'm presenting. It's not a superficial level course. It's a very thoughtful stuff I will be presenting, that if anybody who is trying to quit any addiction and change or transform the life, this course will give you all guidance, and just you need to have your will to recover from any addiction. And you can spread this verse to your friend and family. Thank you so much, and see you next Sunday.
Thank you, Meritive. Have a good week.
Thank
And you
you.
too, Jean.
Thank you.